Hello everyone, and welcome back to IxSHE Tell, Yui's route. In the last episode, a typhoon hit the school. Well, really the whole island. There's a tsunami warning, the roads are in really bad condition, but it gives a good opportunity for Hajime and Yui to get her big ol' family mansion all to themselves, and they have been taking full advantage of it. Or at least they were until the thunder almost literally scared the pee out of Yui. But now we're in her bedroom, where I'm sure nothing saucy is going to happen. Nothing at all. As the night wore on, the wind and rain grew steadily stronger, and the sky rumbled with thunder every 5 minutes. Oof, bad storm. As a result, Yui hasn't left my side for a moment. She somehow managed to make it into the bathroom earlier, but when it came time for her bath, she only agreed to enter the tub if I waited outside the door while she bathed, and vice versa. I mean, it's probably a little bit risky to be bathing during a storm anyway. I don't know how true that is, but I remember when I was a kid, they always said, don't take baths or showers during any kind of lightning storm or anything like that, so
時間もかかりますし、お風呂はご一緒でも構いませんでしたのよ。
Yeah, why didn't you take advantage of that? Well, we could have, but it probably would have resulted in, you know what.
ですが、どうせするつもりですのよね。でしたらした後にゆっくりすればよかったのでは？
You say it like it's something to be checked off of a task list. It's like, okay, we battened down the windows, we had dinner, we took a bath, we did the deed, we changed the sheets. She's really she's really DTF today, isn't she? What about your sense of modesty?
それを言うなら、メリハリさえしっかりしていれば問題ありませんわ。私だって明るいところで肌を晒すのは恥ずかしいですし。
Wait, but wasn't the room fully lit in the previous scenes? I feel like it was. Same here.
はじめさんが一緒に入ってくだされば、雷に怯えることもなかったのに。
Give you a big old bath time bear hug. Why are you so scared of thunder in the first place?
理由は特に、いきなり光ってすごく大きな音がしますから。
You see, one time when I was a baby, I got trapped at a rave.
飲みの心臓とまでは言いませんが、突然大きな音が鳴るのに慣れていなくて。
I mean, that's fair. That's part of the reason I don't play games like Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm guessing you're not much of a fan of movie theaters either then.
得意ではありませんわね。ホラー映画なんて、脅かすように大きな効果音を鳴らすじゃありませんか。
Same.
他の映画でも BGM が大きすぎて集中がそがれてしまいますわ。
Right. Well, I'll have to remember that the next time I ask you out on a date. No movie theaters.
そうですわね。あ、そういえばゲームセンターも大きな音がうるさくて苦手ですわね。
Aw. Ouch. Okay, I get it. You're gonna twist my arm off. There must be some way to distract her from the weather.
くっついていても多少は紛れますけど、やはり怖いものは怖いですわ。
Isn't there a band called that? Well, how about a kiss instead? Okay, I guess you were on top of it. Literally.
少しはマシかもしれませんわ。
What's up with you today? You're being really assertive all of a sudden.
怖さが紛れるなら、藁をもつかむ思いですから、きっとそのせいかと。
Anything? Why don't we go ahead and have sex then? It might help drown out the noise.
怖さが消えるのなら、何でも構いませんわ。
I suppose. Not the most romantic start, but it'll do. Oh. Is this gonna be where I have to cut? Chuckling to myself, I give Yui a kiss and begin touching her body. Still fearful of the thunder, however, she continues to tremble faintly. Relax. Focus on me. Once we get into it, you won't even remember it's thundering outside. It's gonna be thundering inside, if you know what I mean.
はい。
The thunder from down under. もう雷の音も聞こえませんわね。Yep, The rain's a lot softer now, so I think the worst of it's over. It's not the only thing. By the time I realized it, I could no longer hear the wind howling outside. All was quiet. Now that the thunder's gone, a soft smile of relief has returned to Yui's face.
私の顔に何かついてますか?
Not this time. Nah, I'm just glad to see you smiling again, that's all.
もう雷はどこかに行きましたから、雷さえなければ何も怖くありませんわ。それに今日は、はじめさんが泊まってくださるんですもの。笑顔になるのも当然です。寝る前と目を覚ました時に、好きな人がすぐそばにいてくれるなんて、嬉しくないはずがありません。
I feel the same way.
今日は朝まで、なんてことも大歓迎ですわよ。
You can't go saying that kind of stuff, Yui. I might actually take you seriously.
あら、朝まで体を重ねることにご不満でも?
Well, when you say it like that. No, I do. But the thing is, if we stay up all night having sex, it'd be pretty awkward when your parents get home and find us sleeping in your bed together.
ちゃんと起きていれば問題ありませんわ。それにお父様たちは、勝手に私の部屋に入ることはありませんから、
You say
気
that,
づかれるはずありませんもの。
but comedy says otherwise.
すでにお帰りになられたということにして、お父様たちが出て行ってから帰っていただくことも可能ですし。
That's devious. Alright. Well, if we do end up oversleeping, you're going to have to cover for me.
お任せください。寝坊してくださった方が、一緒にいられる時間が増えて嬉しいですけど、あまりわがままは言えませんわね。
Well, as long as we wear ourselves out, you might not have to.
それでは、今宵は、二人だけの特別な時間を楽しみましょうか。
No idea how much of this I'm going to keep or cut. We'll find out. Well, that was an eventful night. Quite a storm, if you know what I mean. Oh.
夜分失礼いたします。ゆいです。
I know. Caller ID's a thing. Hey, what's up? It's Friday night. I'd been texting back and forth with Yui about our date tomorrow when she suddenly gave me a call.
特に用はなくて、急に声が聞きたくなったと言いますか。
Oh, fair.
ご迷惑でしたか?
Of course not. I prefer talking to you directly like this too.
はい。はじめさんの声を聞くと、胸がドキドキします。
Naturally, the happiness in Yui's voice makes my heart throb as well. I wonder what kind of smile she's making right now. Tomorrow's going to be so much fun.
私も楽しみで。きちんと寝れるか不安ですわ。
But then you'll be tired for tomorrow. I know you're excited, but you're gonna regret it tomorrow if you don't get some proper shut-eye.
もちろんです。はじめさんとのデート、思いっきり楽しみたいですから。
Did somebody drop something? Oh, okay. From the other end of the line, I hear the sound of a chair being knocked over. Perhaps she stood up a little too abruptly. You okay?
お構いなく。
Did you hit your funny bone? I'm glad she's excited, but it'd be rather unfortunate if she injured herself before our date.
そうだ。ねえ、はじめさん。デートプランはすでにご用意されてまして?
Well, nothing concrete yet, but I was thinking we could brainstorm some ideas together.
まあ、そうでしたの。でしたらよかったです。
I'm not good at coming up with plans on my own. Oh?
今回のデートプラン、私に考えさせていただけませんか?
Oh, that's convenient.
私の考える最高のデートをはじめさんにお届けいたします。
We're going to build a synth. The absolute confidence in her voice leaves me both excited and nervous in equal parts. But of course, nervous in a good way. I'm sure Yui knows how to plan a trendier date than me, after all. Though naturally that means she'll be setting an even higher bar for our next date. Alright, it's all yours. I can't wait to see what you have in store for me.
なのでその次は、はじめさんの考える最高のデート、期待してますわね。
Prepare to be whelmed. A competition to see whose date is better, eh?
そう捉えていただいて構いませんわ。
Didn't know you had a competitive streak.
だってそうすれば、常に最高のデートを味わい続けられますもの。
That's a lot of pressure. I can practically picture Yui on the other end giving me a mischievous smile and a wink. Although she usually acts so mature, this playful side of her that occasionally slips through is downright adorable. Oh, so that's why you wanted to go first, huh? Unfair advantage.
それはたまたまです。実はデートプランって一度練ってみたくて。
You should have said that from the beginning then.
それもそうでしたけど、はじめさんに恥をかかせてはいけない。ですが、私も試してみたいという気持ちが。ね。
Alright, reenact the scene from Singing in the Rain is off the list then. But you couldn't help yourself, eh? That's just like her. Still, whatever she's got planned for our date, I won't lose when it comes to showing affection. Are you sure about this, though? If you need more time to prepare, we could always just have a regular date tomorrow.
それは私への宣戦布告というわけですわね。
I didn't say that. No, that's not what I meant at all. Seems like Yui's getting more pumped up by the minute.
ご安心ください。実はすでにいくつか候補は絞ってありますから。
I've even invented a machine to pick one for me. Oh, interesting. I might have a few less date spots to pick from next time, but either way, I'm curious to know where she's taking me. Dates can come in all sorts of different forms. What kind of plan does Yui have in mind? Thanks for putting so much thought into this.
いえ、お礼だなんて。私もはじめさんとのデートが楽しみで、実は普段からいろいろなデートを想像してましたの。
I've got this list on my phone. I've been making it for the past 10 years. Oh, so that's why she was so eager to have this whole date competition thing. Alright. I'm really excited to see what you have planned.
ありがとうございます。放課後のデートや、はじめさんをお家に招待した時も、最終的にはリードされてしまいましたから。
Rather than simply feeling obligated, this must be that pride of hers at work again. Have you already decided what we'll be doing too?
そうですわね。ルートは絞ってありますが、明日までの秘密ですわ。
I'm not good at that.
10時に駅のロータリー、そこのモニュメントの前で待ち合わせというのはいかがですか？
Sure. Is there anything special I should bring?
お財布くらいで大丈夫だと思います。
Filled to the brim with cash.
それでは、名残惜しいですけど、明日の準備がありますので。
Got it. I'll see you tomorrow then.
はい。それでは、おやすみなさい。
Yeah. Good night. She sure doesn't waste any time, does she? Still, I could tell how much she was looking forward to tomorrow from her voice alone. That alone brings a smile to my lips. Well, I'd better start coming up with some ideas of my date plan too. There's bound to be a ton of other date spots out there. Fired up and determined to beat Yui at her own game next time, I boot up my computer. Alright, Internet, give me hints.
IxSHE Tell.
Good date spots to outdo my girlfriend. Looks like she's not here yet. Not that I'm surprised. Having arrived 20 minutes before our agreed meeting time, Yui is naturally nowhere to be seen. I'd woken up much earlier than usual today, excited as I was for our date. I wound up leaving everything to Yui in the end. I wonder what we're going to do today. Total world domination.
あら、もういらしてたんですか？
What are you doing here? You're 18 minutes early. Yui? It's not even 10 o'clock yet, you know?
はじめさんのことですから、 私を待たせないために早く来るかなと思いまして。
They just get earlier and earlier every single date. Next thing you know, it's the middle of the night, the day before their date, and they're just waiting there. You got me. I was originally planning to get here a bit before 10, but I woke up a lot earlier than I had expected this morning.
遠足前に寝つけなくなる逆バージョンですわね。
What about you, Yui? Did you manage to get any sleep?
それは、
I did not.
やはり、なかなか寝つけなくて、アラームを2つかけておいてよかったと思いました。
Yui shrugs, giving me an embarrassed smile. In that case, it might be a good idea for me to pick her up from her house next time. I can't wait to see what you have planned for us today.
あら、至って普通のデートプランですわよ。
Sweet, that sets the bar lower.
プラン853、お家でまったり映画鑑賞。プラン574、グルメフェア食べ歩きの方がよろしかったでしょうか。
How many of these plans do you have? Wait, how many of these plans did you come up with?
900ほどでしょうか。
Wow. You're kidding. The only plan I'd come up with so far was to pick her up at her house.
と言っても、それぞれ似通ったものもありますし、泊まりでないといけないプランもありますから。
Each of my plans are actually minor variations. You see, Plan 562 is a variant of Plan 791. Was that why you couldn't sleep last night? You were thinking up all these plans?
頭の中で構想は練っていましたから、昨日新しく考えたのは50個程度ですわね。
Oh, well, gee, you're really slacking off then, aren't you? That's still incredible.
はじめさんとしてみたいことはたくさんありますから。
Happiness wells up inside me when I see that huge smile on her face. Though it might be impossible to do them all, I'd like to go on as many of those dates with her as I can. I mean, if you're in it for the long run, you can probably get through that many. So, which plan are we going with today?
今日はちょっと季節外れですけど、普段行かないようなところに行こうと思いまして。
Which number is this? Oh, sounds interesting.
はじめさんの好みを調べる時間は足りませんでしたけど、きっと喜んでくれると思います。
So if you can fill out this dossier before our next date, I would really appreciate it. I was prepared to offer my assistance where I could, but it seems like Yui has everything covered. Grabbing hold of her hand, we head off towards our first destination. And not our final destination. Hit by bus.
まずはこちらです。
Oh, I see. The trip to the shopping mall certainly is par for the course when it comes to dates. We did it in Yamabuki's route too. Looking around, I see dozens of other couples just like us. Is there something you want to buy?
いえ、特には。
I'm going to buy them all.
そもそも買いたいものが決まっていれば、大抵のものは通販で済ませますし。
I guess that is more convenient, especially if you're buying something heavy or bulky. But speaking of buying things, won't we have to carry all the stuff we buy here around all day long?
確かにここで大量に買ったら、後々の荷物に。
Why didn't I think to bring one of my stuffed animal servants with me?
これが普段から通販に頼っていた代償。
I didn't think we'd be running into problems this soon. Well, how about we just walk around for now? Buying one or two things shouldn't be a problem. We can always use the coin lockers for storage if we need to.
まずいですわ。このミスのせいで300以上のプランが練り直しに。
Oh my gosh. Just how many of those plans involve shopping? Anyway, let's try to focus on our date right now. I'd be happy to help you fix your plans another time. Yeah, but then they won't be a surprise.
そうですわね。落ち込んでもいられませんわ。今日ははじめさんに喜んでいただくんですから。
Yui clenches her fists to her chest, firing herself up. Burning fire kick. I'm glad she's not dwelling on these little mistakes. Hopefully we don't run into any more of them. It's all little mistakes. Whoa! Is that an imported heavy-duty barbecue grill? After looking around for a bit, I suddenly spot the grill on display at the atrium stage. Alongside it was some promotional tagline I'd never heard of before. weather getting cold? Time for a barbecue! Apparently, the grill can also double as a smoker, depending on how it's used. Impressive. But 30,000 yen? That's way out of my budget.
何か気になるものでも
30,000 yen? That's my allowance. Yeah, that heavy-duty barbecue grill over there. It looks nice, but the smoker I have right now works perfectly fine, and I definitely don't have the money for it right now. But I could host a huge house party with a grill like that, so it's kinda tempting.
なるほど。相場はわかりませんが、はじめさんとの思い出作りと考えれば安いものですわね。
Are you seriously just going to drop that kind of money? Okay. 30,000 yen, a small price, huh? That's definitely only something a rich girl would say.
庭にスペースは有り余っているので、私が買うこともできますが。
For real?
ですが、今はまだやめておきましょう。
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, you're right. It's too much of a luxury for students like us.
いえいえ。ですから、はじめさんとの思い出作りに金額は関係ありません。
That's a slippery slope.
むしろあれくらいのグリルなら、いつか家族でした方が楽しいと思いますし。
How many kids are you planning on having? Around 900. Wait, what? True. I bet your parents would...
いえ、そういう意味ではなくて。
Uh-huh. Not her family. Then whose? Wait. Yui, were you talking about ours? Oh, she was. With the choices we've been making anyway. Looks like I'm right. Her shoulders tremble ever so slightly as her face glows scarlet. She's the one who said it. Why is she even more embarrassed than me? It's not a bad feeling at all, but it is definitely embarrassing.
そういえば、あれよりも小さなバーベキューグリル、コンロのようなものがうちにあったと思います。
Oh, really?
はじめさんがもっと私のお家に来てくださるよ。今度倉庫の中を探してみますわね。
That's right, I only date you for your grill. This is getting awkward. I take a deep breath, trying to calm myself. You make it sound like I'd only come to your house to use the grill, though.
ですが、あったら使ってみたいと思いませんか？
I'll grill your meat anytime. Wait a minute. Yes, very much so.
でしたら、遠慮なさらずにお越しください。
I already made the joke. Sounds good to me. I'll be there as soon as you say the word.
承知しました。
All right, I will see you there this evening. The conversation had taken a bit of a strange turn back there, but it looks like Yui's back on track as well.
それにしても、燻製やグリルの話になった途端、目が輝いてましたよ。
It's my passion. Really? I've never realized it myself, but I guess I get pretty excited when talking about my hobbies.
照れなくても、熱中できるものがあるって、素敵なことだと思いますわよ。
I love meat.
もう少し、この辺りを見て回ります？
And cheese. Nah, that's alright. If I stick around any longer, I won't be able to tear my eyes away.
あら、それは困りますわね。
I want you to only have eyes for me.
では、もう少し他のところを見たら、次の場所へ向かいましょうか。
With Yui taking the lead, we set off at a brisk pace to check out the shopping mall. And with her catering to my every need, it began to feel less like a date and more like I was being given the red carpet.
IxSHE Tell.
After lunch, we took a trip to the mountains for a bit of hiking along the riverbed. As we're in the off-season right now, we'd only encountered 2 or 3 other groups of visitors along the way. I had no idea we'd be taking a trip here of all places.
あら、そうですか？ここは初心者向けのハイキングコースもありますし、ちょっと足を伸ばして散歩するにもちょうどいいんですよ。
But I wore the wrong kind of shoes. I'm an indoors kind of guy, so I guess I'll have to take your word for it.
これを機に見聞を広げるのもよろしいかと。
No, I'm totally the same way.
そうですわね。 はじめさんの場合、
Hmm?
ここって夏に来ると混雑していて大変なんですが、皆さんバーベキューで盛り上がるみたいですわよ。
Oh, now there's an idea. Looks like one of my plans for next summer has already been decided. I guess this date plan really was specifically tailored for me. Speaking of summer activities, though, those people over there aren't here to camp, are they? At this time of year, surely not. They might be, and don't call me Shirley. Alongside the river, I notice a number of bungalow-like cabins lining the embankment.
どうでしょう。ただのキャンプというよりは天体観測かもしれませんわね。
How many of your date plans involve stargazing? All the way out here? Just to see some stars?
この辺りは郊外、街の明かりも少ないですし、空気も澄んでいるので星を見るにはちょうどいいとかで。
Makes perfect sense, actually. That makes sense.
夏には昼はバーベキュー、夜はデーモンファンでいっぱいになるらしいです。
As the daughter of one of the town's most influential families, I'm not surprised she knows her stuff. There's still a lot I don't know about the town, so I could listen to Yui talk about it all day.
ちなみにそこの川、春から夏にかけて釣りも楽しめますの。
What about in autumn? I peer into the water's surface. Though incredibly clear enough to even see the bottom, I can't see any fish whatsoever. Dipping my hand into the river, the water feels rather icy against my skin. Naturally, we probably won't want to be splashing around in it.
はじめさんは笹舟とか作って遊んだりしたことあります？
Me? No, not really. I never really went mucking around in rivers and stuff when I was a kid. I just imagine him like, what is it, Tantor from Tarzan. Is this water sanitary?
そうなんですか？はじめさんってもしや小さい頃は都会っ子でしたか？
Not exactly. I used to go bug catching and stuff. I just never had much chance to visit rivers or the beach back then.
なら今だけははじめさんに自慢できますわね。
Are we also going to the beach?
このパイレーツ笹舟、これを作れるのは私だけですのよ。
Arr. What? Holy cow, this is awesome! I'm unable to mask my surprise at the toy boat Yui whips out, folded perfectly into the shape of a pirate ship. This level of skill goes way beyond that of any normal person's. This is like how they fold those paper cranes with legs, right?
ええ、これを作るにはかなり長めのサイズを探さないといけないのがネックですが、作った時の達成感が違いますわね。
You must have been the most popular kid in class if you knew how to fold these when you were little.
そうでもありませんわね。おばあ様はよく褒めてくださいましたけど、女の子の遊びではありませんでしたから。
Boo. Her grandmother again. At my stay at her house during the typhoon last time, I debated on whether or not to pursue this subject further, but had ultimately decided not to. I'd always been curious, of course, since it clearly had something to do with the reason why Yui spends most of her time at home alone.
はじめさん？あ、そういえばはじめさんにはおばあ様のこと話してませんでしたっけ？
I was debating whether or not to bring it up. Oh, no, you haven't.
と言いましても、それほど話すこともなくて、私、いわゆるおばあちゃん子だったんです。そんなおばあ様も私をとても可愛がってくださって。
A nostalgic smile spreads across Yui's face as she reminisces. That smile alone tells me just how much she loved her grandmother.
同世代の友人が少なかったので、小さい頃はおばあ様が遊び相手になってくださっていました。ただ、おばあ様は少々足が悪く、私って当時はかなりおてんばでしたから、困らせてしまうことも多くて。
Wait for me, Yui! Ah, my leg!
ですが、辛そうな顔一つせず、相手をしてくださったんです。
Oh. Everything Yui said had been in past tense. It's easy enough to guess what that means.
すみません。 なんだかしんみりしてしまいましたわね。
That's okay. Thank you for telling me that story, Yui. I'm glad you trusted me enough to share it with me.
そうですわね。こんな話したの、はじめさんが初めてですし。
I'm special. I can't describe how happy I am to hear that. Still, looking at you now, I find it hard to believe you were really such a rambunctious child, Yui.
そうですわよ。でなければパイレーツ笹舟なんて作れませんわ。他にもサワガニを取ったり水切りで遊んだりしましたわ。
I can only imagine how much of a chore those things were for an old lady like her grandmother. How did you go about looking for freshwater crabs? Do you just check under any old rock?
夏はそうですけど、この時期はもう冬眠してるかもしれませんので、近くの土を掘り返すといいかもしれません。
Oh, I can dig it. How do you know so much about them?
情報源はお父様です。
Ah. I take it he's more of an outdoors person. Still, it's amazing how Yui knows just about everything. Honestly, I have no idea how I'm gonna top this date next time. It'll be humiliating to ask, but if I don't, I'll probably end up screwing up and regretting it forever. If I want to show Yui an even better time, I have no choice but to ask her this directly. Let me ask you something, Yui. As someone who seems to have an interest in pretty much everything, what kind of date do you think you'd enjoy the most?
満足するデートですか？そんなにお気になさらずとも、私ははじめさんが考えてくださったデートであれば、それだけで十分ですわ。
Okay, but can you give me a hint?
そもそもお互いに楽しめたらそれでいいではありませんか。
What about all that stuff yesterday about seeing who could come up with a better date?
それはあくまで昨日のお話です。
That's very prophetic.
今日のデートで勝ち負けというのはおかしな話だなと思いましたの。
Oh, I really thought for a little bit you were going to be one of those hyper-competitive types.
例えば雑誌で書かれているようなデートプランが確実に最高とは言えません。最高の形は人それぞれですから、試行錯誤の末に私たちが導き出す答え、それこそが最高のデートではありませんか。
Ever the romantic, I see. So, in other words, you just want to go on lots of dates?
は
Okay, easy enough.
い。では辺りを一周して次の場所へ移動しましょうか。
As we hiked along the trail, Yui would occasionally point out the different plants and flowers to me, making it an enjoyable experience even for an indoor person like myself. But truth be told, the most stunning sight of all was the adorable smile on her proud face, though I chose not to voice that particular thought aloud. Oh, but you could have. You could have seen that embarrassed smile, or gotten a CG. So, this is our last stop?
ええ、時間もちょうど良さそうですし、最高のタイミングですわね。
Are we going up to the tower again? I bet we are. I knew it. Normally, students like us would be chastised for walking around campus without their uniforms. But on account of our model behavior, Yui and I managed to get in without any trouble.
海浜公園も夕日を見るにはいい景色ですが、私が今まで見た夕日で一番綺麗なのがここなんです。
We have diplomatic immunity. The sunset, eh? Come to think of it, Yui brought me up here on a whim as well last time. I hadn't given it much thought at the time, but there must be a reason she's so attached to this place. I mean, it's the place you guys confess to each other, it makes sense.
お気に召していただけましたか？
Of course I do. Hearing you say this is your favorite spot automatically makes it mine too. But what makes it so special to you? Did something happen up here?
あれは、私がまだおばあ様を困らせるくらいおてんばしてた頃ですわね。
Ah. Wait, you're talking about more than 1 or 2 years ago, right? How did you even get on the island? The school doesn't usually let anyone in unless they're a student or faculty.
あら、これも話してませんでしたか？
Oh,
私のご先祖様、この学園の創設者なんです。
no, you didn't mention that. Just how influential is your family? We built this island. From rock and roll. I had no idea. But anyways, that's when you saw the most beautiful sunset you'd ever seen?
冒険だったんです。こんな怪しい島の怪しい島、そこには一体どんな景色が広がっているのか。そこである日、こっそり島に忍び込んだんです。そこでこの夕焼け一目見て、もちろんその後、お父様からたっぷり叱られてしまいましたが。
As that child in her comes out once more, she sticks out her tongue, flashing me a mischievous grin. I understand her sentiments well. The first time I'd seen the setting sun from this tower, I too had stared, transfixed until it sunk in under the horizon.
今日のデートはいかがでしたか？
10 out of 10 would do again. I'd say it was pretty close to perfect. Thanks, Yui.
ならよかったです。
It would have been perfect if I had gotten that grill.
ですが、満点にするにはどうすれば？
I mean a kiss. Why, the season, of course.
季節？
Today, you showed me so many new things that I want to do with you, Yui. Having a barbecue, or going stargazing, for example. So next summer, I want to do all the things we couldn't do today. That, to me, would be the perfect date.
面白いですわね。そういった考えは私も大好きです。これからも二人でたくさんの思い出を作っていきましょうね。
Yeah, you bet. With her back framed against the setting sun, Yui's smile appeared much more sophisticated than her usual angelic grin. If I were a girl, I'd have fallen head over heels for her all over again today after everything she'd done for me. No, even as a guy, I can't help but feel that way.
どうかされまして？
No, nothing.
本当はキャンプ場でもう少しおとなしくしているつもりだったんですが、やはり好奇心には勝てませんわね。
You were fine. Huh? Weren't you just trying to make sure I was having fun?
初めはそのつもりでしたが、つい私も浮かれてしまって本気で遊んでしまいました。
How shameful, having fun on a date. What's wrong with you? Now that you mention it, that might be the first time I've ever seen you letting loose, Yui. But I love that childlike innocence of yours. I want to visit even more places with you and see even more of those expressions.
私もはじめさんが目を輝かせて何かを話しているお姿をもっと見たいです。
Perfect date. I wrap my arms softly around Yui and give her a kiss. Caught up in the moment, my heart begins to beat faster than usual. Across the cool fabric of her clothes, I can feel the gentle warmth of her skin. Your face is totally red, Yui.
見ないでください。なぜかわかりませんが、今ものすごくドキドキしてしまって。
Passion. Me too. But for now, let's just say it's because of this gorgeous sunset.
そういうことにしておきましょうか。
Yeah, convenient. This sunset right here making everybody look red. Today, our date today made me realize how truly amazing Yui is. And at the same time, I discovered yet another charming side of her that I'd never seen before. She'd gone completely above and beyond for me today, and I vowed with all my heart that next time, I'd do the same for her. With that thought in my mind, I pulled Yui in close as the two of us watched the evening sun sink beneath the sea. Which plan are we trying out today? Is that going to be the rest of the route, just trying all the different plans? That's a lot of plans.
そうですわね。
For the first time in a while, Yui and I both found ourselves free of responsibilities today. And since we'd finally be able to walk home together, we met up in the courtyard after school. Since Yui had already come up with a wide array of plans last time, we decided to try them out whenever we had time for a date. While some of her plans were season-specific, all of them are things I'm interested in doing, so I'll have to admit I'm pretty excited.
日中でも冷えてきましたし、風邪をひかないようインドアなプランもいいかもしれませんわね。
I love indoor dates.
ですが冬は空気も澄んでますし、天体観測なんていうのもロマンチックでいいと思います。
I agree. More fun than going to a planetarium, that's for sure. Oh, that's awkward. I was going to suggest that.
その時はしっかり着込んでおきませんと。
As a matter of fact, I've actually been doing a bit of research into stargazing ever since Yui had piqued my interest in the subject on our last date.
あれれこの時間に二人で一緒にいるなんて珍しいぞ。
What do you want? Sensei? Hozumi-sensei comes beelining straight towards us, probably looking for me. What can I help you with?
今日は生徒会の仕事じゃなくてね。
Please don't hit on me in front of my girlfriend.
私にご用ですか？
小塚さんの進路の件で先生たち大慌てで。
Okay, that's interesting.
生徒会顧問で関わりもあるし、こっちの学園の中じゃきっと一番信頼されてるだろうって。
Wait, you advise the student councils for both schools? Huh.
だから今日は交渉人みたいな。
A negotiator? What is this, a hostage situation?
とおっしゃりますと、
I can't imagine Yui would ever cause her teachers any trouble on purpose, but she nods with understanding.
やはり進路を変えたことでしょうか。
Oh.
まあね、本人の希望が第一なのは当然なんだけど、ミミリンも教師だから、先生方の小塚さんには可能性に挑戦してもらいたいって気持ちもわかるし。
Wait, you're an educator? As Yui is in her final year at Misakihama, I'm not particularly surprised to hear them discussing her next step after graduation. But I thought for sure you were planning to attend Kensai-Con once you graduated, Yui. Is that not the case? That's what I thought.
もともとは外部を志望していたのですが、
Oh.
内心ではずっと迷いがありまして、その答えをつい先日三崎浜に提出したというわけです。すでにお察しかと思いますが、今の第一志望はここ京成館なんです。
I picked it over the most prestigious school in the nation. Oh, so that's why they'd gotten Hozumi-sensei involved as well. I've probably been saying her name wrong off and on, but eh. But then what's the problem? Why don't your teachers want you attending our school?
まあ京成館もランクとしては低いわけではありませんが、申し訳ありませんが先生、自分の口からお話しするのも気が引けますので、先生がご存知の範囲で代わりにお話しいただいてもよろしいでしょうか。
I was right, wasn't I?
進路の話だし、小塚さんがいいなら。
Hmm?
小塚さんって名神工業を第一志望にしてたのよね。
The Meishin Tech? That doesn't mean anything to me. But it means something to him. Meishin? Isn't that place like super prestigious? Meishin Technical School, or Meishin Tech for short, is an extremely competitive vocational school whose students score in the 98th percentile. Dang. As the name implies, it's one of the top engineering schools in the country. Famous for its technical co-ops in pretty much every field, it's not all that uncommon to see the school's name mentioned in the news either.
今年の夏もね、小塚さんの作った変な喋る機械が名神が主催してる発明コンテストで審査員特別賞をもらってて、
Ah, that explains a lot.
三崎浜の先生方も推薦での入学はほぼ間違いないって思ってたらしいの。
A talking robot? Is that the thing you showed me at your house last time?
はじめさんもご覧になったではありませんか。ねねですわ。
Yes, I did. So it was that stuffed animal. Or more accurately, the device planted inside that stuffed animal.
ですが、進学については去年からずっと迷った挙句、このままここに残ることに決めましたの。
So that's how the stakes have been raised. I was wondering what the underlying dilemma was going to be. It's because we ruined it. We're ruining her future.
まあ、岬浜としては実績にもなるし、そのまま名刺を目指して欲しかったんだろうけどね。って言っても、やる気がないのに言っても、後で辛くなるのは小塚さん自身だろうし。だから、それでいいと思うよ。ぶっちゃけ進学しちゃったら、その後は責任は取れないもん。
But the prestige.
本当にストレートな物言いですわね。
Have you met her? Well, that's Hozumi-sensei for you. Still, it seems like a bit of a wasted opportunity to not attend such a famous school, especially with a letter of recommendation. She said she'd mulled it over for a while, so there must have been some reason for that. Hint, hint. But I guess I'll try asking her next time the topic comes up. Now that I think about it, Sensei, you said you came here to negotiate with Yui, but you didn't even try to change her mind at all.
だから、本人にその気がないのに説得したって、こっちも疲れるし、小塚さんもいい気持ちしないだろうし。
That's a classic negotiation move? Reverse psychology? I gotcha.
ってなわけで、交渉は失敗ってことにしとくから。
Your best isn't very much.
もしまた気が変わったら、話聞くから、いつでも相談してね。
With that, Hozumi-sensei skips away lightly, having finished her task.
交渉とおっしゃっていたので、身構えていたんですが、なんと申しますか、不思議な方ですわね。
That might be the nicest thing you could have said. She's known as a bit of an oddball around here, but everyone still likes her, for the most part. But in all honesty, she hadn't done anything too weird this time. In fact, she'd done us a huge favor by deliberately doing nothing. After watching Sensei disappear from sight, Yui and I continue on our way home. That's right, kids, put in the bare minimum. It's the Hozumi-sensei way.
こんにちは、私ミミリ
You're back again.
ン。で、どうしたんですか？
That face.
二宮くん、山吹さんが冷たい。だから、冷えたミミリンハートを温める権利、君にあげちゃうぞ。
No, bad. Whaps with newspaper. Can I help you?
せめてリアクション変えろよ。
With the Christmas party fast approaching, I've even had to start giving up my lunch breaks in order to deal with all this paperwork. So while I hate to drop what I'm doing, it's not that often that Hozumi-sensei stops by the student council, as she's usually busy with other things. So this must be something important, surely.
まあいいや。今日は二宮くんにお願いがあってね。
You see the tongue? That indicates it is not. Please don't ask me to come home with you again.
私にお持ち帰りされるの、罰ゲームみたいに言うのをやめよう。てか口じゃ言ってるけど、一回もしてないからね。
I have it on record. Looks like this isn't one of her stupid jokes again.
でね、ここからはちょっと真面目な話。
Isn't that an oxymoron with you?
山吹さんには悪いんだけど、ちょっと外してもらえないかな。
Oh, this is serious.
と。
Yamabuki seems a little taken aback at Sensei's sudden shift in tone.
現状では二宮くんにしか伝えられない少し込み入った話になるから、他の人には聞かせられないの。
That means turning off the bugs in here too.
そういうことでしたら。
ありがとう。なるべく早くするから。
ほう。では会長、話が終わったら連絡もらえますか？
That was a very suspicious look. I nod in return, and Yamabuki gives us one last look of curiosity before leaving the room.
さてと。
After making sure we're alone, Hozumi-sensei turns back to face me.
実はね、二宮くん、小塚さんの件でちょっと相談があるの。
I thought you were done trying to convince. Yui? It's been 5 days since Sensei approached us about her graduation plans. Has something changed?
まあ結論から言うと、小塚さんの説得に失敗したって説明するのに失敗したというか。
Ah, of course. So, essentially, that can only mean one thing. They want you to try convincing her one more time?
まあ一言で言うならそうなんだけど。
And if it doesn't work, they're going to just keep sending her back. She gives me an unusually apologetic expression, looking troubled.
タイミングが悪かったのかな。
The timing of what?
ほら、小塚さんが進路を変えたのって二宮君と付き合ってからでしょ。
Ah, okay. So even if that's not the reason, it's going to look like the reason, and the teachers are all going to blame Hajime. But at the same time, it's not like Hajime's a delinquent, so I feel like they can't be too mad at him. Ah, I get the feeling I know where she's going with this.
迷信ってここからだと通えないから向こうの寮に入ることになるし、そうなると二宮君とも会いたい時に会えなくなっちゃうから。
So you're saying she chose to stay because of me?
小塚さんがそんな子じゃないのは分かってるよ。
I was about to say, yeah, that doesn't seem like her kind of thing.
それに二宮君だって小塚さんがそんなこと言ったらきっと止めると思う。
Mm-hmm.
でも少し頭の固い先生方はそうは思えないみたいで。
Well, that's not good. I can certainly see why they'd assume our relationship played a part in her decision. But the truth of the matter is, we can't know that for sure until we ask Yui herself.
ごめんね。二人はそんなことしないって私も説明したんだけど。
Honestly, I feel like Yui could say that to them face to face and they still wouldn't believe it. So that's why she looks so apologetic. That's okay, Sensei. This isn't your fault. I don't think it's anyone's fault, really. Still, you didn't come all the way here just to tell me this, did you?
やっぱこんな言い方したら分かっちゃうよね。実は生徒会長として二宮君からも小塚さんを説得してほしいんだって。
Well, that's awkward. I thought so. Still, I can't say I don't understand the level of expectations the school has for Yui. She's a brilliant mind. In fact, this was probably one of the reasons they made her student president.
二宮君を悪く言うわけじゃないけど、
I was about to say, was it not an election?
やっぱり小塚さんの才能はそれだけすごいものなのよ。
I know. And Meishin Tech is the sort of school that produces future leaders, too. Plus, I've been looking for the right time to talk to Yui about this anyway. And it looks like that time is now. But I want to be clear on something. I have no intention of interfering with anything that Yui's already decided. I'm not going to try to persuade her one way or the other. All I'm going to do is listen to what she has to say.
そうしてくれると助かるよ。
And relay that to the other teachers.
ただ三崎浜の先生もご両親に直接相談してみるって言ってたから、ちょっと複雑なことになるかもしれないけど。
Boy, that's really awkward considering we haven't actually met her parents. Man, this is getting really serious. This whole ordeal is starting to feel a little daunting already. But if I'm the only person that Yui feels comfortable talking to at the moment, I should try hearing her out first. Promising Hozumi-sensei I'd speak with Yui, I show her to the door before giving Yamabuki a call to let her know we'd finished our discussion. It's okay, I got out of it unmolested. This time. Ominous. This is really awkward. Here comes the parental meeting.
さて、まずは何から聞くべきか。
I knew it.
と言っても、聞きたいことはいくつもあったんだが、いざ彼を目の前にすると、聞きたいことが頭から抜けてしまったよ。
It's a pleasure to meet you too, sir.
そうですね。こんなに突然、ユイの大切な人にお会いできるなんて。
Were you all avoiding it? I wasn't expecting to meet you on such short notice either, ma'am. How did I even end up in this situation to begin with? Thanks, Yui. Yui, being of no assistance, simply sits next to me with a smile. To understand how this happened, we have to go back to lunchtime today. after Sensei had left the student council room and Yamabuki had just come back.
はじめさん、お忙しいことは承知の上で、今日の放課後、お時間いただけないでしょうか。
Today?
どうしても、はじめさんに進路のご相談をしたくて。
Oh, that's convenient. I wanted to talk to you about those too. Oh, of course then. I'd be glad to. Is it all right with you, Yamabuki? I hate to leave the rest of the work to you.
どうして小塚さんの進路に会長が関係するのか知りませんけど。
Really?
別にいいんじゃないですか？言ってあげても。
I appreciate it. Are you sure though? We have a pretty big backlog of work today.
もちろんそうですよ。でもそれと進路かって言ったら、今の時期進路だって大切ですから。それに、私の役目は会長の補佐ですから、甘く見てもらっては困ります。
Thank you. I feel both honored and insulted. Still, any way you look at it, I'm asking her to do more than what's in her job description. Yamabuki's always saving my hide, and I didn't even pick her this time.
どうしても気にかかるということなら、明日は寮の門限を特別見なかったことにしますので。
Thanks.
今日の分も思う存分作業してください。
Yamabuki, thanks. I'll work 100 times harder tomorrow, I promise. And here we are. Okay, I said that before I even saw it come up on screen. Cool. You never said a thing about your parents being here, though.
実は、三崎浜の方からお父様にもご連絡があったそうで。
I'm sorry, I didn't know we were whispering. They did?
その件も含め、一度はじめさんにお会いしてみたいと。
Okay, did you explain this isn't my fault? Now that she mentioned it, I do remember Hozumi-sensei saying something similar. I do wish she'd given me a little warning in advance, though.
まったく、どうしてここまでするのか、理解に苦しみますわね。
It's for your future. Well, they have high expectations for you, Yui.
確かに娘を高く評価してくれるのはありがたいがな。だからってあいつ、わざわざ俺の携帯に電話かけてきたからな。
M?
気にしないでください。今の学園長、この人の友人なんです。
Oh, okay, I was confused. Yui's parents really are well connected, aren't they? I almost feel out of place interacting with these socialites. It just makes me all the more curious to know why they'd invited me here. It's an intervention. They don't also think that I had some sort of negative influence on Yui's graduation plans, do they? If that's true, I'm not surprised they wanted to size me up.
まあ何にせよ、学園に何を言われようが、私たちはユイが決めたことには口を出さない。
Oh, haha, take that.
進路については以上だ。私からも連絡を入れておこう。
I'm just waiting for the teachers to start showing up outside of the mansion being like, Yui, change your mind!
はい、承知しました。
Huh? That's it?
あまりにもすんなり話が済んで驚いているのかな。
No, I really didn't. I thought this was going to be a really serious event, but apparently, if there's anything I've learned from the past 2 routes, and now this one, there are no serious events in these routes. No, sir, I did not. Guess I hadn't been able to mask my surprise.
これでも人を見る目には自信があるからね。ユイの場合、先にあれこれ言うよりも自分で経験し、そこから学び取っていく賢さがある。
I praise.
失敗を恐れるな。失敗こそ自分の成長の可能性だ。
I've seen that engraved outside of your house.
と、幼い頃にはよく言い聞かされました。
And that's why you'd support Yui choosing her own path in life?
もちろん、君との関係も一つの勉強だ。
The conversation suddenly takes an unexpected turn, again. I should have seen this coming, but his words catch me completely off guard.
そんなに身構えることはない。言ったろ、人を見る目には自信があると。
It's his Sharingan.
その上で、私は 君なら問題はないと思ってるんだ。
Oh, wow.
というか、止めるならとっくに止めてる。
Well, that explains a lot, actually.
少なくともうちはこの町じゃ名の通った家柄だからね。
I think that means I earned his approval?
そうそう。二宮さんってあの学園の歴史を変えたんですものね。
Is that so?
長年の歴史を覆すなんてそうそうできるものではありませんし、そういった意味でも私たちは二宮さんに大きな可能性を感じているんです。
You're giving me too much credit. I was only able to pull it off thanks to all the other students who shared my desire for change. All I did was act as a representative for their voices.
まあそうだろうな。聞いているかもしれないが、私も県政官の卒業生だ。恋愛禁止の校則は邪魔で仕方なかったからね。
I'm shocked. Perhaps that's what had scored me a few extra points with him.
ただ、ゆい、
何でしょうか。
独立復帰を掲げてきたのは私だし、今さら口を挟むつもりはない。だがもし恋人と離れるのが嫌で夢を捨てるというなら。
ということでしたら、胸を張って私の意思だと言い切ります。
Okay.
むしろはじめさんはあの時からずっと迷い続けていた私の背中を押してくださった方です。
And I didn't even know I was helping. The expression on her parents' face suddenly stiffened. Back then.
ですので、この件に関してはじめさんを貶めるような発言はお控えください。その時は学園であれ、お父様であれ、私は絶対に許しませんので、お忘れなく。
Though she is but small, she is fierce.
そうか。
Despite the smile on her face, there was a strange forcefulness to Yui's words. Though still curious as to what prompted it, once Yui's parents contacted Misaki Hama, the school will have no choice but to accept her decision once and for all.
私は自分を見つめ直せたからこそ、はじめさんのいるあの学園で学びたいと思いました。はじめさんが卒業するまでの時間は、あと1年と少し。一緒に活動し、学ぶことで、新たな道を探すことができると信じています。
Aw. Upon hearing this, her parents fall into a pensive silence. Her words made me happier than anything, but I can't tell if her mom and dad feel the same.
そういうことなら、やりたいようにやればいいさ。
Okay.
先ほど言った通り、学園にも連絡しておく。
ええ、私もゆいを応援します。ですので、二宮さん。
Yes, ma'am.
私たちは家を空けてばかりで、あの時だって必要な時にこの子のそばにいてあげられなかった。
Are we talking about the typhoon? There's that phrase again. Just what exactly had happened back then? What's more, I also began to notice her mother's tone growing even politer than before.
でもそんな時、あなたはゆいに必要とされた。それはあなたにとっては偶然だったかもしれないけど、ゆいにとって大きな支えになったはずだし、それはきっとこれからも同じだと思います。なので、できる限りこれからもこの子のそばにいてあげてくださると嬉しいです。
Aw, that's actually very sweet. Of course, I'll do everything I can for her.
はじめさん、ありがとうございます。そうおっしゃっていただけると心強いです。
そうだね。私たちにはお願いすることしかできないが、よろしく頼むよ。
The mood in the living room grows more relaxed now, as the air of seriousness begins to lighten up. Yui's parents relax into a smile as well, breathing a sigh of relief.
さて、そろそろ。
Hmm?
二人の関係について
Um,
詳しく聞かせてくれるかな？
does this conversation have the patch installed? I'm sorry? Our relationship?
いくらお父様といえども、プライベートなことですから、お答えは致しかねます。
She's very even keel about this.
そうですよ。もっと自然に聞かなければ警戒されるのも当然です。
Her mom knows.
同じことですわよ。
それでお二人は普段どこでデートをしてるの？
I thought for sure her mother would dial things back a bit, but that wasn't the case at all. I'm glad they approve of our relationship, but aren't they being a little too inquisitive?
そういう話は、はじめさんのいらっしゃらないときに。
No one expects the parental inquisition.
はじめさん、参りましょう。
Go where?
デートですわ。
Oh,
お父様お母様、私たちはこれで失礼いたします。
it was nice to meet you too. Perhaps feeling embarrassed, Yui grabs me by the hand and leads me out of the living room.
いってらっしゃい。
ちゃんと暗くなる前に帰ってくるんだよ。二宮君も今度一緒にご飯でも行こう。いろいろユイのことも聞きたいし。
Absolutely, sir. I'd love to.
はじめさん、行きますわよ。
Until next time. With that, Yui dragged me outside, and we suddenly embarked on our impromptu date. It was nice to meet you, bye! It wasn't awkward at all. Good meeting. It could have gone much worse.
まったく、お父様たちも興味が出るといつもこうなんですから。
Oh, this is normal? After leaving Yui's house behind, our feet ended up carrying us all the way to Misakihama. Perhaps due to my lingering nervousness, the ocean breeze feels pleasantly cool against my skin. Yui had said we were going on a date, but it seems like she'd mostly been embarrassed and wanted to get out of the house before her parents could question us further, which is fair. Can I ask you something, Yui? There's something I'm not quite clear on.
はい、何でしょうか。
What's this back then they keep referring to? Earlier, you and your parents kept mentioning some specific time back then. But what exactly had happened back then?
う
Air quotes.
そうでしたね。そういえば、先輩にはお話ししていなかったので、何のことかわかりませんわよね。
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. If you're willing to talk about it, I'll be happy to listen. After all, your parents seem to be grateful to me too, because of whatever it was that happened. I was honestly a little confused, because I hadn't remembered doing anything worthy of their thanks.
ただ、お母様たちの反応をご覧になっていれば、あまりいいお話ではないとお気づきかと思いますが。
Oh, I bet this is before the events of this whole game.
それでもよろしいですか？
At least I'm wondering. Yeah, I could see your parents' faces went kind of stiff when you mentioned it. That it has to do with her grandma. But I want to know what happened. I want to know what I did for you.
そうですか。では、少し古いお話をします。私が昔、おてんばな女の子だったことはお話ししたと思います。確かそこで、おばあ様の足が悪かったこともお話ししましたよね。
Yeah, you did.
私の夢が生まれたのは、その時なんです。おばあ様を、おばあ様のように苦労されている方々を少しでも楽にしてあげたい。そこから私はたくさんの本を読み漁り、少しずつ道具を集め、物を作る基礎を学びました。
Ah, okay. So that's why you built things like Nene in your spare time? For practice?
あの子はまだいろいろ問題がありますけど、いずれは話し相手として役立つ存在になればと考えたのがきっかけです。
Oh, wow. Ah, so that's why you were planning to go into a technical school.
はい。
But why did you give that up then? It sounded like a wonderful goal to me. Shouldn't you have followed your dream?
あ、それがですね。
Hmm?
とある出来事を境に、私はその夢を追う気力を失ってしまったんです。
An incident?
はじめさんが気になったとおっしゃったあの時のことです。私に夢を持つきっかけをくださったおばあ様。
Ah,
そんなおばあ様が亡くなったんです。
I figured that was the case.
去年の年末でした。お父様たちから見たら、あの時の私の落ち込みようはひどかったと思います。
The end of last year. You were already student council president at the time, weren't you?
はい。そこはちょっと、いいえ、かなり無理をしていました。
Oof.
本当に辛くて、潰れそうで、
That makes sense.
無意味なほどに元気な青葉がいなければ、本当に塞ぎ込んでいたかもしれません。なので、青葉にはとても感謝を。あ、きっと調子に乗りますので、このことは秘密ですわよ。
Yeah, that's probably true. I won't. I'm starting to see why they're such good friends, despite appearing to be polar opposites at first glance.
お父様たちは、その時、私に何もしてやれなかったと。お仕事もありましたし、仕方のないことでもあるんですが。と、まあ、夢を、生きる希望を失っていた私でした。
Oof. Okay, well, I take back what I said earlier about the serious circumstances then. I'm not sure this is the right moment for me to say this, but I'll say it anyway. Hasn't it ever occurred to you that your grandmother might not have wanted to see you give up on your dreams? Hmm?
そうなんです。おばあ様は、最後にとても難しい問題を残していかれたんです。
What was it?
あなたの夢は知っている。でもそれが私のためだったなら、その夢は迷わず捨てなさい。
Ah, okay. So she was asking you to give up on it? But why?
わかりません。私自身、その答えはずっと出せずにいました。
Probably something along the lines of pursue your own dreams, I would imagine.
だからこそ、私はどの道を進むべきか、その答えが出せずに悩んでいたんです。
I see.
ですがそんな時、とんでもない人が現れたんです。
Who was that? Really?
はじめさんです。
Me?
私の家は、お父様もおじい様も、この学園の卒業生です。なので、はじめさんの掲げた恋愛解禁について聞いたときは、正直無謀だと思いました。
And I was the proper fool for that errand.
それこそ、百数十年という歴史がありましたから。
So when I actually pulled it off, you thought I was incredible?
驚きました。ですが、そんなマニフェストを掲げて生徒会長に就任されたときは、何をバカなと思いつつも、夢を失った私は、大きな野望を持つはじめさんに、どこか期待していたのかもしれません。それが願掛けですわね。この方の願いが叶ったとき、私も前に進めるかもしれない。
This was back in June, right?
はい。そこからはなかなか進展もなく、もうダメかもしれないと諦めかけました。ですがはじめさんは、ご自身の願いをご自身の手で掴み取りました。正直、心が震えました。今なら私も進めるかもしれない。この方のそばにいれば、もう迷わずにいられるかもしれない。それが、私にとってのヒーローとの出会いであり、私の初恋でした。
Aw. Really? But that was long before you first confessed to me, wasn't it?
ええ、とはいえ、は じめさんのことは青葉からお話を伺ってましたし、生徒会でお話しする機会もありましたから、少しずつどこか惹かれるところはあったのかと思います。
Oh.
そこでおばあ様の残された言葉の意味も分かった気がしたんです。
You did?
私は昔からおてんばでしたから、きっと一つの夢に落ち着くとは思ってらっしゃらなかったんだと思います。
So the meaning was something only you and your grandmother would understand. We'll never know for sure what her grandmother's words had meant, but Yui had decided to interpret them as positively as she could. To be honest, I also thought at first it would be a waste of your talents to give up on your dream. But after hearing your side of things, I think your grandmother was right.
あら、先生から説得を頼まれてましたのに、納得されてしまってよろしいんですか？
Wait, how did you know that?
はじめさん、あのようなちょうどいいタイミングで、私が生徒会室を訪ねるとでも？
I knew I forgot to turn off the bugs. You were eavesdropping?
盗み聞きだなんて人聞きの悪い。放課後の件についてお誘いに伺ったところ、何やら先生とのお話がドア越しに聞こえてきただけですわ。あとは山吹先輩が戻るのと同時に何食わぬ顔でお邪魔すればいいだけですもの。
Very sneaky. You're a sly one, that's for sure. Still though, I at least never promised her that I'd change your mind. And if Yui's father was going to contact the school anyway, she can't blame me for not trying. But after everything you've told me, I'm going to have to work even harder next year.
何をですか？
Do you remember when you told me I was your role model?
ええ、恋人であり、尊敬するお方でもありますわ。
At last, I'm starting to understand what Yui had told me the night of the Halloween party. In that case, as Kensai-Con's student council president, I'll have to do my best to look after our new students next year. After all, if I'm your hero, I have to live up to the name. Actually, on second thought, calling myself a hero is kinda embarrassing. Sorry, do me a favor and forget that last part, would you? Even though it was recorded. She will not. Come on, Hajime. This isn't the time to be copping out now. Okay, never mind.
はい。
If it puts a smile on her face, I don't mind being a hero just for her.
ですが、はじめさんが頑張るのなら、私ももっと頑張りませんと。当面の目標は、はじめさんをフォローできるような人になること、ということにしておきます。
You sure that's all you want?
だって、私はこんなにも救われたのに、救われたままでは悔しいですから。でしたら、先輩のその不安を知っているのは、私ただ一人。
Ah.
つまりその不安について、私が今の先輩にとっての全てなんです。ですから、全てであるこの私が、今この場で先輩の不安を全て受け入れます。さらに申し上げるなら、先輩は何も悪くないと、私が先輩の不安を全て肯定します。ほら、もう先輩を責める人は誰もいなくなった。自信を持ってください。先輩の無謀な夢に救われた人もきっといます。その人は今頃、先輩に感謝しているはずですから。
Right. I can't believe that I'm realizing now the hidden meaning in those words she said to me way back then. Yui.
はい。
I'll be waiting for you next year, future Kohai.
はい、待っていてください。未来の先輩。
Aw, that was so nice. Credits? Okay. I really liked that. So, I take back everything I had said about there really not being any kind of serious circumstances. They actually did a really good job of inserting what I would say is probably one of the more high-stakes things into her route, because her having that whole dilemma of what to do with her future since she was so connected with her grandmother. I mean, that makes a lot of sense when you have an integral person in your life and then they're gone. That has a really strong impact on you. So it can really alter the course your life takes. But overall, I've really enjoyed this route. Yui is just such a self-assured character, because I feel like with Ayaka, she came off as really self-assured, but she definitely was insecure on the inside because of her background, and Yamabuki was constantly fighting against herself. But Yui has always been really sure of herself through all of this, and she was just more and more resolute as it went on. And that's pretty cool. I mean, it's almost like she did a lot of her character growth kind of in the background without us even realizing it this whole time. Now we get to see what happens in the future. It's probably going to be the next school year, I imagine. Although I am kind of hoping for a bigger jump, but probably not. The big day's finally here. Oh, maybe it's graduation. All around the school entrance, new first-year students run excitedly to and fro, showing each other their brand new uniforms. Oh no, it's her first day. Got it. As most of these students are coming straight from Misakihama, they all seem right at home. I'm sure I'd find Aoba and Mocha-chan in equally high spirits if I were to look around for them. However, there she is! There was one girl who stood out among the rest, gracefully acknowledging the stares and whispers of admiration from those around her. A girl with such a dignified bearing that you would never have guessed that she was a first year. Now, how should I go about approaching her? During our spring vacation, I had several opportunities to meet up with Yui and visit her house as well. Each time, I begged her to let me see her in her new uniform, but each time she'd politely say no, telling me to wait until the school entrance ceremony. Which is most likely why she's standing here, dutifully waiting for me to arrive, despite the fact that we never made plans to meet. I better not start with any empty compliments, or she'll see right through me. All that face. Looks like she's finally noticed me. She smiles excitedly, greeting me with an elegant wave of her hand. Crap, the only word I can think of is cute. I seriously need to work on my vocabulary. Boy, I feel that one.
ごきげんよう、二宮会長。
Yeah, good morning. Why are you being so formal, though?
今日からは私も警察官の生徒ですもの。会長には敬意を表しませんと。
Don't worry about it. In fact, hearing you use my last name after all this time just feels weird.
公私混同はいけませんわ。恋人は恋人、学園は学園ですもの。
That said, Yui once told me that she considered me a role model, so I'm sure she's plenty happy to be wearing the same uniform and going to the same school as me.
ですが、まだ学園の外ですので、今ははじめさんと呼ばせていただきますわね。
It's technically correct, the best kind of correct. Then I'll stick to calling you Yui, too. Perhaps because of her new uniform, Yui suddenly seemed a lot more mature to me. But at the same time, the innocent smile on her face glowed brighter than ever before. So, what are you doing here? I don't remember us agreeing to meet up at the entrance.
そんなの決まってますわ。
She picks up the hem of her skirt, spinning around on the spot to give me a 360-degree view of her entire body. Showing off the uniform. She hasn't said a word, but it's clear what she's expecting from me. You look great in our uniform, Yui. I guess she wants more. You look incredibly mature and dignified. I can't stop my heart from racing, to be honest. It makes me want to show everyone here just how cute you are.
待たされた甲斐はございましたか？
Oh yeah, it was. Except one thing.
どうぞ。
I'm not dissatisfied by any means, but I do also wish I'd seen it sooner. If you had shown me your uniform over spring break instead, I wouldn't have been able to keep my hands off of you. I wouldn't have let you go from morning till night, not even during dinner or even bath time.
それはもちろんお見通しですわ。
Bad Hajime. And you still kept me waiting? Isn't that a little cruel?
だって、それでは入学式の前に制服がしわくちゃになってしまいそうですし。
Touche.
それに万が一でも、はじめさんので汚されてしまったら大変ですもの。
Alright. That's not something you should say in public. Thankfully, though, no one seems to have overheard. Well, who's to say I won't do that now?
構いませんわよ。入学式さえ終われば、制服なんて形でしかありませんもの。
Be careful what you wish for. You just said you were super worried about getting it crumpled up.
それはあくまで入学式前だからです。式の前にクリーニングに出すなんて、それこそ怪しすぎではありませんか？
Fair. I don't think it would have been that strange.
何ですか、はじめさん。私としたくはありませんか？新しい制服姿の私を独占できてしまうんですのよ。
Well then. Of course I wanted to have sex, damn it. What the heck are we talking about anyways? Right before the entrance ceremony too, no less. Incidentally, both Yui and I had been chosen to give a short speech for the entrance ceremony after this, as representatives of the new students and current students respectively.
あら？ですがおかしいですわね。
What is?
たとえ入学式の日であろうが、一度きりの青春を恋人同士で仲睦まじく過ごすことに何か問題がありまして？
It's very poetic. That's the slogan I used when lifting the ban on romance. I'm surprised she remembered.
というわけですので、放課後うちにいらっしゃいませんか？
I'd love to. But don't get me wrong, I don't have any ulterior motives, alright? I know your parents won't be home today, so I just don't want you to feel lonely after your first day of school. I was thinking we could have a little celebration, just the two of us.
よく喋りますこと。それでは下心があるとおっしゃっているようなものですわよ。
Touche. Well, you never know where the evening will take us.
まったく仕方ありませんわね。
Yui might not believe me, but I really was planning to celebrate with her. If only for one short year, we'll be attending the same school together at last. I want this celebration to be the first of many, many fond memories I can leave her with.
はじめさん、
What is it?
今何かおかしなことを考えてましたわね。
I was not. They were very wholesome. No, not really.
いいえ、そんなはずありませんわ。間違いなく、どこか寂しそうな目をされていました。
Though unintentional, the thought that we only had 1 year to spend together was certainly a lonely one. Somehow, Yui understands me better than I understand myself. I was just thinking about all the fun things I wanted to do with you this year.
そのようなことをお考えでしたのね。ですが、そんなのは当たり前ですわ。以前お約束した通り、今年の夏はたくさん遊びますわよ。
Yeah, I can't wait. Stargazing, barbecuing. Oh, and we should invite everyone over to the dorm too, like last time. I don't know why it felt so lonely for a moment. Instead of worrying about such silly things, I should be looking forward to all the fun we're going to have.
ですがその前に、まずは生徒会長に立候補して、一日でも早く、はじめさんと肩を並べられる女性になりませんと。
You got my vote, not that it matters because I'll have graduated. You still haven't given up on that, huh?
当然です。だってはじめさんは、私の憧れであり、かけがえのない恋人なんですもの。
Aw. Very nice. Very inspirational. Yeah. I have to say, I've actually enjoyed this route a lot. And there's the achievement. Hey. Yeah, this has been a really good one. I didn't know going into it how I was going to feel about it. Admittedly, I kind of thought Yu was going to be a little bit of a throwaway route, but I really enjoyed the way that her relationship with Hajime has evolved or had evolved, and how everything came together. It was a good experience. I actually, don't hate me for this, I think I actually enjoyed it a little bit more than Yamabuki's route. Ayaka's still number one, but Yui, I have to say, has probably become my second favorite route because of that confidence of her personality and the way that she is so honest and straightforward with herself. I mean, yeah, she had a couple of misgivings here and there, mostly just because she doesn't want to come off as immature, but it was really sweet. I liked it a lot. But I'm still looking forward to, we've got 2 more routes to go. I'm not sure if we're going to do Koshimizu or Shiori's route next. It'll be a surprise for everyone, including us. Well, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and Yui's route, and I hope you'll join us as we start on to the next one. For now, I am one half of the Bridge Boys, signing off.